So when I first saw these ReAction Super 7 ReAction G.I. Joes, I thought they were cool looking, but they weren't anything I was planning on adding to my collection. Now, I do have a handful of ReAction figures of other franchises um, that I left in the package, and I would just pick up here and there. But I was not planning on picking up any of these. Short story, but you know how it goes when you collect things. Eventually, I just said, you know what, these are kind of cool. I think I want to add them to the collection. So I want to open these up and see were they really worth it. Um, as you know, or as you may know, these figures retail run approximately 18 bucks a piece, which is kind of pricey for a little 3.75 inch figure with barely any articulation. That said, there's just something about the way they look that's appealing to me, and I thought it would be fun to have some on the shelf. So, all that said, I actually have a handful more of these guys coming. So I might do a second video opening those up, or I might add them to this video depending on when they show up in the mail. Maybe, maybe not. But I at least want to open up what I have here and get a vibe for the figures overall, how they feel in hand. I do think they look cool in the package. Oh, by the way, those of you who collect mint on card or in the box collectors, I do not plan to take the chromed out Cobra Commander out of his package. I'm going to keep that one carded and add that to my collection of on card in box stuff. But I'm totally going to open these two troopers and the regular darker regular packaging Cobra Commander. Okay, and then I'll get an idea of, was it really worth 18 bucks a piece for these? I think the obvious answer is probably no. But you never know, different strokes for different folks. So let's check it out. Okay, so took them out of the packaging, put their guns in their hands, kind of moved their arms and legs and heads around a little bit, got a feel for them. So what do I think? Well, first, I want to note I noticed this today. This is not a toy. It is a collectible for adults. So, with that said, really no articulation. Well, 5 points: neck, shoulders, hips. So they're not really for posing in these dynamic action poses or anything like that. But I would say that they look really nice for how small they are. The paint jobs are pretty damn good, I think. And the plastic, the actual feel of it, it feels high quality. So if you collect, if you collect any number of toys, oftentimes the plastic can feel a little maybe rubbery or cheap or almost fragile sometimes. These don't feel this way. These feel solid. They feel like high quality. So even though they're small, even though they're about 18 bucks a piece and they're only 3.5 or 3.25 inches tall, limited accessories and posability. On the upside, they are really nice looking. I think that they're doing what they're intended to do, and in my opinion, that is to be more of a novelty rather than like a action figure. Um, Also, if you're like me and the one line you've been following for the longest, that's kind of your main squeeze, is kind of not really giving you much that you're interested in lately, and the other line that you're following doesn't want to send you your pre-orders for another 6 months, these guys are readily available. So I picked these ones up at Books A Million. I got the uh, Cobra Commander that's still in the packaging at Target, and I have a handful of other figures coming from Target. I also They're also on Entertainment Earth. Um, FYE has them, but FYE I can't remember, but I think that FYE might actually have these marked up a couple dollars from what's already really pushing the limit for a figure this size with this minimal accessories and articulation. Like, I wouldn't pay this much for a G.I. Joe retro collection at retail. If they were selling retro collections at this price point, I would have never bought one. But the thing is, and I made a video with retro collections not that long ago, the retro collection figures are kind of poor quality in my opinion. I mean, some of them are good out of the however many I have, which is not a big collection. I have maybe 6 or 8 of these retro collection figures. A couple of them are solid. They don't feel like they're just going to break if you move them. And then the majority of them, though, they at least have one joint that just feels like, wow, I should not ever move this again. And actually, one of them broke as soon as I took him out of the box. I just tried to bend his elbow, his arm snapped in half. That's in the previous video as well. Anyway, I have no expectation that these figures are just going to break or anything like that. These are solid. So I could totally imagine not wanting to spend almost 18 bucks for these little guys, and makes sense to me. But if you find yourself in a place where you're not really seeing the things that you want in your collection coming out and you think these look cool, it doesn't, if you have the extra dough, it doesn't hurt to add them to the shelf because they really look nice. All right, well, I guess that'll be it for this one, and maybe we'll see some more of these later in this video or at another time. Okay, so here's part 2 of the G.I. Joe Ultimate, or not Ultimate, yeah. Not quite. The G.I. Joe Super7 ReAction figures. So this time around, I have a Destro, Baroness, Duke, and a Storm Shadow. All pretty, I guess, main cast figures in the G.I. Joe story. So, in the last round, I opened up Cobra Commander and a couple of Troopers, and my sense of the figures were that they were overall high quality figures, be it with little articulation and few accessories. And again, they're not really for action poses and all that. I consider them more of a novelty type item. But I do think that they are well crafted, and probably the plastic, and they're cartoony, but the detail is really top notch. But as far as the plastic is also top notch. So I feel like they successfully achieved the style that they were going for, that um, original animation style, and they used high quality materials to accomplish it, and the paint is top notch. Okay, let's open these things up. All right, again, these are all super cool. They feel, I don't know how to put it. They just feel good in your hands. The plastic, it's like a hard, solid plastic, and it almost has like a texture to it. I don't know how to explain it. Storm Shadow, he comes with like a few accessories. His swords fit into a backpack, and he also has a bow and arrow. Destro has a little, his rockets on his glove, they clip on instead of having been molded on. Yeah, I'm excited to add these to the shelf. I think they look great. And to recap from what I said before, they are a little bit pricey for such little collectibles, such tiny little collectibles. So I am definitely not going to go all in and, you know, collect them all or whatever. But I will get some more. So I plan on, based on what I already have here and what I still haven't opened up yet, I'll have at least maybe like 12 of these things total. I don't think I'm going to really go much further than that, if at all. Um, yeah, they're a little too pricey to buy them all. But some of the cool things about them is the troopers, how they have um, 3 or 2 different variants of like each type of trooper. For example, the I don't have one, but the G.I.Joe green shirts, I think they have like 3 different skin tones for those. The Cobra Troopers, they have like 3 different skin tones, but they also have different, the way their suspenders are in the back. So I think total you get like 6 different possibilities or 6 different variants of those guys. There's the Sailors, which I don't have any of those either, but they have variants between skin tone and facial hair. So there's a good you know, you could do a good army build with these little guys, but it would cost you a fortune. So I'm not going down that road, but they will look good on the shelf. They're not, you know, they cost almost as much as a classified figure, and they don't have nearly the posability or accessories or, you know, all that size. But they look really cool. They feel cool in hand. So I mean, it is what it is. So again, my recommendation, if you're feeling a drag and you're collecting right now, like things just aren't there to get, or the things you're seeing aren't appealing to you, this might be a good little thing to fill the gap. That's kind of what I'm doing. Then again, totally understandable if these are outside the price point you're willing to go, because they were for me until I said screw it, and I and I went ahead and just grabbed a bunch of them. Now I know dropping, like 3 of these guys at Books A Million came up to like $50 some. So you know, I wouldn't recommend spending your money on that. If you I wouldn't put it on a credit card, I'm saying that. If you have the extra cash, you know, have nothing better to do with it, go for it. Okay, might open up a few more of these before I wrap up this video, or I might make a different video, or I might not do any more of these at all. All right, everybody. Okay, just a few more here. So I have Major Blood, Snake Eyes, and Scarlet. And really, I feel like these are just such good representations of the old Sunbow animated series characters. Um, this Snake Eyes is just dead on, in my opinion. I think that's the thing about these figures that are cool, or that are one of the coolest things about these figures, I should say, is that, you know, they're not really action figures, so to speak. In my opinion, you're not doing much action with them, but they just look, they look like the cartoon characters come to life. I think that's kind of what it is. Well, not really come to life because they're just standing there, but come to 3 dimension. Here, that'll work. It looks like the classic cartoon characters have come into 3 dimensions. I think that's what's doing it for me with these guys. So, um, yeah, the Snake Eyes look so good. The Scarlet, she has a little um, satchel with her bow or her arrows in it that you slide over her torso. They look cool front and back. I really like the Major Blood. So, yeah, like I said before, I don't think I'm going to go super deep into this line, but they do have some more cool stuff coming out if you're interested. They'll have a Arctic, or an Arctic dressed bazooka coming out. They have a couple figures coming out on some variant, I guess you could say variant packaging, or some different packaging. They have and they're kind of, I think the premise is that they're jokes, or they're in reference to memes that the old PSAs were memed. And I think one, it's like masseuse roadblock and I am a computer mutt, something like that. Could check those out. I think that the concepts are funny, and again, they're collectibles, they're novelties, and I think it's funny to reference the meme and to make a whole packaging art out of it, and a specialty, or really unique G.I.Joe release there. They also have a different Baroness coming out. There's other variations of Snake Eyes out there. Firefly, who looks really cool in my opinion, supposed to be coming out. A number. I shouldn't sit here and name them all off. You can use the internet. That's how you found this. Okay, so I guess I'll cut it here. But all in all, I would say that this Super7 ReAction G.I.Joe line is cool for what it is. They're not in competition with Classified or Black Series or anything like that. It's a totally different lane, I think. And if you're willing to throw out the extra couple bucks, it's cool. I think they look cool. So that said, that price point is kind of brutal on these little 3.75 inch figures. But then again, if you want it, you gotta pay for it. All right, that'll be it for this video. See ya.